Hey, Mark Meldrum, Monster Garage, and we're out here reminiscing a little bit. I had my buddy Jim Gilbo from Jim Gilbo Construction come over today. And in 2002, he and my son, and myself, and a few friends built this barn. My cousin Russ helped me get the property ready and get all the stone down. And then we hired Jim as a general contractor. But basically, we were his workers. He would come over, he'd help us buy materials and tell us where to go to buy it and stuff. We'd buy the materials, and my son and I would work on projects he'd give us, put the post up, put the sheeting on, put the roof on. I mean, he helped us through the whole thing, and it turned out to be a great place. Like I say, built that in 2002, so we've been out here for 11 years working on cars, and it's been a great place to work on cars. But as you know, this week I've been spending a lot of time over at Mike Ely's working on his 70 Chevelle. So I'm going to show you a little bit of that today. Uncle Larry and I, oh my God, it's always something. And I tell you, if we charge Mike $1 an hour, he'd still owe us $100,000 because, oh my God, it's just one thing after another. Today, you see in our episode, we got caught up with a bolt on the head for the alternator that I don't know who was thinking what when they put this helicoil in there, but it really screwed us up on putting the alternator bolt into the block. And I think I posted something earlier in the week that I had to switch that bolt around. And we went to screw that bolt in from that side, and it wouldn't go in the block because the threads weren't big enough. So anyway, I think we got that behind us. We had to do a little work on getting the old helicoil out, and then basically retapping the cylinder. And it went well, thank God. Thank God, Larry and I both have a little machining experience, and we can figure things out without going to the machine shop on stuff like that. Probably saved Mike thousands of dollars as far as, what would have had to been done if we couldn't have fixed that. But anyway, it was over there this morning. I've been, doing final fits on some glass, side glass. We're working on the steering column. I want to thank Craig Ruth. We took a field trip over to his place. I should have shot some video. Craig Ruth Restorations, he builds some neat cars over there. He builds these cheetahs. And I think one of the cheetahs that he built was, is it Stacy David? I think he built that one for him. Or they had it on the show, and he kind of supplied the body, but he's got a jig to do frames and the body and the whole 9 yards. So it's pretty cool to see how he does that work. And his dad was into Corvettes, and they had a bunch of Corvette parts over there that will help us out with that coupling on the steering coupling on the Chevelle. So anyway, we got that part from him. So one more thought. I want to wish my brother Chick Charles a happy 75th birthday. Holy cows. To think I have a brother that's 75. I just hit 59 this year. And I know there's quite an age difference. There's 4 of us brothers. And I heard and talked to all of them, and even worked with my brother Rick, who lives right down the street this week on his 48 Buick. And my brother Jay ran into a mutual friend of ours, Carter Ostenhouse. You might remember that name. He's who I worked with when we had this car on the Great Christmas Light Fight. He was the host of the show and rode in the back of the Chevelle while I played Santa Claus and looked at all the light displays. So that was pretty cool. That my brother met up with him in Michigan, and he has a winery up there that he met him up, and he says, hey, my brother Mark, and I guess they reminisced about that. That was pretty cool. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's get to the meat of this video, which is how we fixed the block and maybe some other things. I'm not sure, but here we go. Hey, Mark Meldrum's Monster Garage, and we made a lot of progress on the 70 Chevelle this week. Right now I'm waiting for Larry to get back from the alternator rebuild place, and then we'll put that alternator on and the fan on, and the motor should look pretty. But I got to tell you something that happened this week. We hooked up the gas pedal for the first time. So, I went ahead and pushed the throttle all the way down in the engine compartment, and fling, this spring, the spring that holds this part down, this little vent, goes flying. And Larry thought he saw it go one way, and somebody else said it went another way. And we couldn't find it. It's a tiny spring. So my brother comes walking in the shop the next day. He's still working on his 48 Buick over there. And he says, "Hey, what's this?" And here, the little spring, look how little that thing is, had jumped all the way up on the roof here. So unfortunately, it broke. The spring broke. I don't know if you can see that, but it should have two arms coming off of it. So anyway, that's something we'll have to address this week. But okay, once Larry gets back, I'll get the alternator on this thing, and I'll show you that. We're having all sorts of issues. We finally got our alternator, and it looks so beautiful. And we go to put it in there, and the only way I could figure out how to put this bolt in was this way. It would only screw in this way. Now, on these alternator bolts, you'll notice that this stud here is bigger than this. But I assumed it flipped around this way because that threaded right in there. But in close inspection, we looked a little closer and we can see there's a helicoil in there. So we're going to try to take the helicoil out so that this will go in the correct way, and hopefully we'll be okay. If not, I won't even publish this. We got another big block setting in here, and this is how I know that I'm right about this, because this screws right in there, no problem. So I got my machinist Larry, and he's going to try to figure this out.
Yeah.
After about a half hour of
complaining,
machining, I even tripped on something and fell over. Larry laughed at me. We finally got this in. There was a helicoil in there, and we took it out, and now we got this stud. We had to retap that, and now we got it looking good. So let's try to put this back together.
Hey!
All right, there we go. That job that should have took 15 minutes probably took us another hour, which is just like every job on this darn car. But we got her on there. Look at that beautiful pulley. And yes, that's a, what is it, 437 alternator for anybody that cares to know. So we're in good shape. Okay, I don't know. If we put a fan on here.
M9 something, huh?
M9? All right. All right. I think I had enough for today. I'm going to send Larry home. It's Friday.
Yeah, I got to go home and mow the grass.
I got to send him home with homework. I got to shout out to Craig Ruth. We went over to Ruth Restoration today, and he scoped us out with the part we needed here, which is the steering couplings, which is the steering shaft, which Larry's probably happy about, because that'll give the steering column all weekend to dry. He's had it out here baking in the sun. You see that out there.
There's no sun now, though.
Yep. All right. I worked on some window alignment. I think the door needs a little bit of alignment still. But you're probably wondering why that piece of tape is there. I'll tell you that story in another day. See ya.